Okay guys, so here we are. We're going to show you how to debone a whole fish. So I've gone ahead and cooked a scup. So this is, I think many of you likely know this fish by now. This is kind of our mascot. Was once heavily eaten, overfished, fell out of favor, then was kind of off the map for a while, and has slowly been coming back and is known as an underloved fish. Really tasty, local fish. They eat crab and small little fish, and really nice flavor to it. So we just baked this at 400 for about 15 minutes and got an internal temperature of 135. So it should be nice and ready to go. I just pretty simply stuffed with some herbs in the cavity. I would have put lemons in there, but ironically I didn't have any. This came to us clean, scale gutted as it would to you if you bought it from us. So here we go. So now what do? So when looking to debone a whole fish, I like to kind of start with the top. We have a couple things to contend with. There's a set of bones right here on the top, which I like to call a mohawk, and then there's a similar set of small bones here at the bottom. And what we want to do first is kind of just shuffle those off. So I'll often just use a butter knife and a fork, and we're just going to kind of piece this off. You see that? It's like kind of an oddly satisfying thing. You can see those bones right there. They just spike straight out, and they just kind of come cleanly off. This varies a little bit, like fish to fish. This scup is what's known as a round fish, as opposed to a flat fish, which would be a fluke or a halibut, which we'll do that in a later video. All round fish are more or less similar. There's slight differences, but pretty much, if you can get this down on one, you got it on all. So then here we're gonna go just do this kind of the same thing on the bottom. So you got a little bit of bone action there. Cool, we'll just kind of shuffle that away. All right, now from here, what I like to do is kind of just remove like the collar and the rib bones. So there is a lot of nice meat in there to pick through. So I kind of like to put that over to the side right here. You see this is really good kind of fatty meat, so we're going to put that there. And then the collar here, kind of same thing, just on the opposite side. So we're going to just shuffle those apart. Cool. All right, so we'll just kind of get these herbs that I had stuffed in there off to the side, just to make this a little cleaner. Now from here, a lot of times what I'll do is kind of just cut into the center. Just to make it a little easier to kind of break this fillet free. So right down kind of that center line, and then you're just kind of shuffling. You're just shuffling right off. You see that? So you can see kind of that center bone structure there, and how I just kind of slip that right off. So I'm going to use my fish fillet spatula. It's really nice. It's thin, and we're going to transfer this to the plate. So we're going to kind of flip it over that way, because we're gonna still doctor that up a little bit. And then for the top piece of the fillet, so I'm gonna get those bones out of there. Same thing, you're just shuffling it off. You see that? So you got those bones right there. Oh, I got some of the bottom one. That's okay. And then we're gonna just again transfer that to the plate, and we're gonna turn it over. Might as well do the other side, and then we'll get to kind of taking care of the details in the fillet here. So once I'm there, you can see I've kind of just cleanly gotten that fillet off. Right, I'm going to put this spatula back for a second, and then we're just going to, right here, if the fish is cooked, through, then that bone should just lift straight off the fish, like so. Just like that, right?
Your Tom and Jerry moment.
Yeah, right, exactly. So we're just taking those bones out there. We have some rib bones right here. So we're gonna kind of just shuffle these out. You're gonna kind of lose a bit of meat there, unfortunately, unless you really want to kind of spend a lot of time needling through that. We're just gonna kind of shuffle that away, and then we're just going to kind of shuffle that head off, and then that should be good to go. So again, I'm just going to take the spatula and then transfer that to the plate. Okay. Notice on that one, I took that center bone off and then just kind of shuffled off those rib bones, but I didn't split it like that one. It's just because it was kind of, you know, when it's down on that other side and you lift that bone off, it's a little easier. You could do that like with one fell swoop on the top piece instead of piecing it in half. I find it's a little easier. So I'm just going to kind of feel in here. So there does tend to be some little bit of pin bones right in the center of the fillet. You know, you're not going to get all of them. It's just the reality of eating whole fish. So you just kind of gotta, you know, you do your best you can, and then when you eat, just eat a little bit slowly, but it certainly pays off in the flavor. So right here, so now go back to this first fillet. Right here, these are the rib bones that we kind of had just taken off of this one. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna just kind of shuffle these off. And again, it's kind of difficult not to lose a bit there without, you know, really taking a fair amount of time. So, but you just kind of, if you really kind of want to get the bones out, it's probably just best to just shuffle that off, and then, you know, someone who's a little bit braver can kind of pick through it. And then we're gonna just touch here in that middle and just see where we're at there with bones, and that seems pretty clean. We got one there. And okay, there we go. So this is not the most beautiful looking thing, but it's functional. And so here we go. And then, you know, from there, ideally we want to kind of clean the plate up a little bit. So we'll just kind of tidy it up. Up here. You see, I'm not winning any Michelin stars, but, you know, for a home cook, we're just getting the job done. So, and then this is a chimichurri. We got this recipe on our website. This is super easy to do. It's just you chop up a bit of garlic, parsley, toss in some olive oil, a vinegar, red wine or apple cider vinegar, squeeze a lemon, salt, pepper, and you're good to go. And it takes like minutes, and then it just adds a lot of flavor. And so we like to just kind of top our fish with that. At this point, aside from the chimichurri, you could also salt and pepper these fillets. I find that, you know, the flavor of the chimichurri does pretty well on its own, but we're going to go ahead and just add a little bit of salt to it. And there you go. So that's deboning whole fish. The other, you know, kind of way to go about this, which I almost prefer, is to just leave that whole fish intact, put it in the center of the table, and let everybody go at it. You know, to kind of have a little bit of a nicer plate presentation and save people all digging at each other. There you have it.